Hey guys, this is Ben at In the Field Consultants here at Creambrook Farm today. Doing kind of a quick review. I think it was probably a month ago we were up on this same field here, and we had a situation where the field had been conventionally grazed in the early spring during the spring flush by a couple of beef cows before we were able to take over management of this farm. And the beef cows ate all the good undergrowth and had left a lot of tall, heading out, kind of heading towards maturity grass. And we discussed in that video whether we should clip it or whether we should let it go, and kind of the pros and cons of both. One of the reasons in review why I opted to clip it was I didn't have the cows to get up here to really knock it down that way. Another thing was, because the grass was on the more mature side, it wasn't going to be really beneficial for a milk cow. The only cow that really would have done well, not done well, but at least maintained herself on that grass would have been a beef cow that was carrying a calf and not lactating. So we opted to cut it. I was a little anxious myself, to be completely honest, about mowing so much of our ground, not knowing what kind of a year we're going to have, because we had a bit of a dry spring kind of starting off. But the rain has really come here in May. We've had multiple inches, cool weather. I think that's all going to change next week. But you can kind of see here, looking at this grass, that we achieved our goal of getting back to more vegetative grasses that are now going to have a higher digestibility. We're going to graze this with dry milk cows still. It's mostly fescue, so it's not the greatest feed quality. Straight fescue. There's a little bit of clover in here, but you really got to look for it to find it. But we were successful in biologically restarting the grass by cutting it, having that disturbance. Basically, there's two ways to restart grass. Both take disturbance. One is a cow, one's a mower. And while the mechanical solution isn't my favorite, I do like tractors, but I try to use animals as much as possible. I will say that this has been relatively successful. You can still see there's a little bit of dry stuff in a few spots here where it was really heavy, of kind of the older grass, but for the most part, the grass we cut has kind of gone down into the ground and is serving as kind of building a bit of a carbon bank there on our topsoil. So overall, I'm very pleased with how this has worked out. My hope is that I won't have to do this much in the future, because that means that the spring flush was mismanaged. But to get back to decent quality grass, clean off any possible weeds that were starting, like thistles and multiflora rose, etc. That had its benefits to it too. These can be reached through properly managed mob grazing, but we would have had to have a little higher quality feed to really have success with the mob grazing system up on this hill. This is one of the poorer fields on the farm. As you can see, it's pretty much straight fescue. If you have a field that's almost completely fescue in this area, it's usually because of somebody's been spraying a broadleaf killer to get rid of thistles, or B, it's just really not the best fertility, because fescue is a poor man's grass. I mean, it came out in the Depression, the Great Depression, back in the 20s and 30s, back when nobody had any money and the Dust Bowl was going on. So, it is quite literally the poor man's grass. But feed quality, especially with the endophyte, is not that great. So we will be spending some time up on this hill here in years to come, in winters, feeding rather heavy on it to get manure and nutrients back up here, and then also frost seeding in some clovers and other legumes and plants to kind of boost the trying to get more multiple species up here, because you don't want a monoculture of anything, but a monoculture of fescue isn't going to really work with your cow herd terribly well. So one reason why the fertility isn't too great up here, I'll show you something to consider if you're looking at taking over the management of farm or purchasing it, is you can see right here is about a 10-acre stand of woods, decent oak trees, and then also down here along the bottom there's the creek. So, you know, the beef cows used to have pretty much this whole thing in my view here to graze. So what they do is they come up here, nibble, 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 and then they go, you know, sit in the graze, or sorry, sit in the trees, leave all their manure and nutrients down there, or carry it to the bottom of the hill when they were getting a drink. So this hillside has been kind of mined, if you want to put it that way, by the cows, as they've exported all the fertility and nutrients from this hillside into the woods or down towards the creek. Out there on top of the hill, you may be able to see it. We're spreading chicken litter today. That's where we've been shooting our videos on converting the cornfields back into forage swards. And tomorrow we'll go up there and take a peek and see how that's doing. But anyway, hope you guys found this helpful, and we'll look forward to talking next time.